everyone, my name is Liz and this is Pink, and welcome to today's virtual wild encounter. So you may notice I am wearing a mask, and here at the zoo we are following all CDC recommendations by wearing masks and gloves and staying far enough away from our coworkers as well as our mammal friends we have here at the zoo. Since my moderator Whitney is far enough away and Pink right here is a reptile, I'm going to go ahead and take my mask off. Right. So like I said, this is Pink, and we call him Pink because of the color marking we have painted on his back. And we do that so we can tell them apart between him and his brothers that also live with us. Box turtles can get about this big, but Pink here is only about 6 months old, so it'll take him several years before he can become fully grown. Now, box turtles are common, especially near ponds, streams, and other water, and especially here in Tennessee, and they are great neighbors for us. They help us by being important seed dispersers, especially in our forest and other natural areas. Now, box turtles, they're omnivores, so they eat plants as well as things like bugs. Now, when they do eat those plants are going to pass through their digestive system, and which results in a new plant ready to grow. Now, without seed dispersers, like box turtles, we would have to go around and plant every single plant out in the wild. So we are glad to have them around us to help us out. Now, unfortunately, box turtle numbers are dropping, but the good news is saving wildlife starts right at home. Because box turtles are common around this area of the U.S. and don't grow very large, they might seem like they'd make great pets. However, we never want to take any animal from the wild, and this applies to box turtles for many reasons, but specifically because they live in areas about the size of a football field, and they learn everything about that terrain so they can easily find food, water, and shelter. If we take a box turtle out of the wild, even if we have intentions of putting it back, it can have incredibly harmful effects, even if they are put back in the place that they've never been before. Now, they'll have a harder time finding food, shelter, in a place they're not used to, which will make it harder for them to do their important job of dispersing those seeds. And one easy way you can help the box turtles and all wildlife is if you find wildlife, is just to leave it alone. Now you can use your eyes and stay away pretty far. And most of the animals are actually more afraid of us than we are of them. So watching from a distance will make it more likely that the animal will keep doing its natural behaviors. And you might get the chance to see something really cool. All right, do we have any questions?
We have so many questions. Everyone just wants to start off with the usual hellos that we always start with. So we've got Stacy Hay from South Haven.
Hello.
Henley says hello from all the way from Arkansas.
Oh my goodness.
William goes, little turtle, the baby moves fast.
He is very fast. That's why we only brought one. We have 3, but having all 3 out here is like wrangling a bunch of toddlers.
I think we remember last time with Nikki trying to do that. Maddie and Abby are all the way from South Haven saying hello as well.
Hello.
Everyone's enjoying this turtle treadmill we have going on here.
Get his workout in.
That's true. And of course, Gleason, Tennessee from Taylor.
Hello, Taylor. See, Whitney's phone has a turtle on it, so he is walking directly towards that phone.
Yes, your moderator today is very obsessed with turtles. Well, we do have some fun questions here. Sidley, age 7, wants to know again, what is the red thing on his back?
Yep, so we actually have 3 of these guys. Pink here and his 2 brothers. So we paint just a little nail polish on their shell. Does not hurt them at all, but it just helps us make sure we can tell which one is which, because they all look very identical.
That's good. And we got a friend here, Dog Days on YouTube. What is its favorite food? And just commenting that it is so fast. Wow.
He is very fast. That is a good question. So these guys are omnivores. So they'll eat anything from plants all the way to bugs. I believe some lettuce or greens are some of their favorites, as well as mealworms. Ooh, he's very fast today.
And, you know, it's funny because everyone always thinks that they're gonna be so slow when, turtles really can be very, very quick.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm trying to get some stuff out of his way. Yeah, no, they have a big misconception that they are slow, and they do spend a lot of time just basking in the sun, but when they want to get going, they definitely get going pretty fast.
And we do have a question from Summer. We see it about opening back up. We are just waiting for the city to initiate all the phases, but we are making sure that we're going to do it safely, and we'll have more information on that as it develops. So just keep an eye on our social media pages, and thank you for watching.
We definitely miss you guys here at the zoo.
Clearly, Turtlet here does. Henley, age 5, would like to know, how old is he?
He is 6 months old. That is a great question. So he's going to get bigger than this, but it's going to take him several years to get full size.
Oh, wow. Now, you were telling me a little bit earlier, were they hatched here at the zoo? I forget.
No, they were hatched at another zoo, and then they were sent here to be a part of our ambassador program.
Oh, here's a fun one for you, Liz. We've got a hi from Centralia, Illinois.
Oh, that's my hometown. Hey, everybody.
Always nice. Braxton, age 4, says he loves this video, and this turtle is so cute, all the way from Bartlett. They miss the zoo and loving the videos.
Oh, my God. He is very cute, and we miss you guys, too.
William would like to know, is their beak very sharp, or is it more blunt?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's sharp. I would be more concerned about how strong their jaw is. Now, they're not really going to bite you unless they feel threatened, so as long as you, like I said, leave these guys alone and watch from a distance, you're not going to have to find out how strong these guys can bite.
All right. And what's their life expectancy from Michaela in Tennessee?
That is a great question. I cannot exactly remember how long these guys live. I would definitely say at least into their 20s.
While he's still walking forward, it's nice to talk about what's the difference between a turtle and a tortoise.
Oh my. That is one of my absolute favorite questions. Now, there's also terrapins, but we're not going to get into all that because I could talk all day. So it's basically on how they get around and where they spend most of their time. Now, tortoises, they have more stubs as feet, and they're going to hang out on the land. And they're not great swimmers at all. Now, turtles, they have little claws, and they actually spend a lot of time in water. Not all of the time, but that is the big difference. It's just where they spend most of the time. Now, these guys do have flatter shells than a tortoise. A tortoise is going to have a big domed shell, and that's so that they can go inside when they feel afraid. And they don't need a flat shell like these guys, because when these guys swim, they're going to want a flatter shell so they can swim away fast.
Yeah, I thought it was fun trying to talk about, since we can very clearly see his little more paw-like feet than those stumpy elephants.
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness. Well, we got an interesting one here. EdBoy96 on YouTube wants to know, if presented with the opportunity, will box turtles feed on dead animals?
Ooh, maybe. These guys are omnivores and they will eat meat. But my answer would probably be probably.
But they're not known scavengers like some of our other friends we've seen. Like yesterday we had Matt the Savannah monitor lizard.
I would say these guys kind of forage on greens and more opportunistic with like bugs and things like that.
Okay. Are turtles related to dinosaurs? From Amanda in Montgomery, Alabama.
So birds are actually going to be more related to dinosaurs. These guys do have a lot of similarities, kind of like the scales or the scutes you see on their backs. But I don't think these guys are directly related to dinosaurs.
You gotta swing back there. What is a scoot?
A scoot. So on his shell, I'm going to pick you up, Pink, sorry. So each individual one of these is a scoot. Now the top is called a carapace and the bottom is a plastron. And I'm sure we are going to get this question, so I'm just going to go ahead and answer it. A good way you can at least tell the difference between a boy and a girl is you look at the bottom of their shell. Now don't go do this in the wild because, like I said, we want to leave animals alone. But here at the zoo, you can look at the bottom. If it's going to be more flat, it's going to be probably a girl. If it's more concaved on the bottom, it's most likely going to be a boy.
What great information. Is he still moving his way around?
I know. He sat still for a second, and I thought for sure he was maybe getting tired.
Okay. Sophia wants to know when he'll get fully grown. How big will he be? Please compare to a common item for reference.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have a common item around me because we are kind of picnic style out here, but I can show you with my hands. So he is going to take several years before he is fully grown, and they can be anywhere from 4 to 9 inches big when they get fully grown. It's kind of like people, we're all slightly different. So same with turtles. When he's fully grown, he could be anywhere from here to kind of here.
Something a fun project for friends at home is they could take maybe a mixing bowl and measure out 4 9 inches mixing bowl, and like, oh, that's how big this turtle will be.
Oh, definitely. And then you can draw out a picture. I always love to, kind of draw pictures of animals, and when you can draw it out, especially something like this, you can kind of see how big he's going to be.
Yeah, he is just moving and grooving today. I love it. I'm trying to get this camera to sit perfectly still for us, and it is not wanting to. Okay. Oh, and we've had several questions recently. Aaron, age 5, where can you find them?
That is a great question. So these guys are mostly going to hang out near a water source, like a pond, a stream, maybe even a smaller river, and even lakes. Now this time of year, it is common to see them crossing the road. So I don't recommend for children to go do this, but if your parents can, they can actually get out and help the turtles cross the road if it is safe. Now what you're going to do is want to help them cross in the same way that they were going in the first place. Otherwise, they're just going to keep trying to cross. But these guys are found near water.
Yeah, we've heard before that they're pretty hard-headed. Like, wherever they want to go, they're going to keep going.
That's like a lot of animals this time of year. They're going to go where they want to go. It's springtime. They want to go where the food's at. They want to go where the good, territory is.
Right. So, do turtles prefer to live in groups or solo? Navaya, age 14.
That is a great question. So, these guys kind of are found basking a lot of times next to other turtles, maybe on a log or a rock. So, I wouldn't necessarily say that they like being in groups, but they are found in groups sometimes.
Okay, let's see. Salud. We got a saludo from Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, my Spanish is not terrific, so if someone wants to translate that for me real fast, I just want to make sure that I am. But they are asking something like, class, I want to say they're asking what kind of turtle is this?
This is a box turtle.
Okay, Liam, age 7, wants to know if they stay mostly in the sun.
They do, so especially this time of year and in the summertime. See if we can get them to walk across the screen.
Oh, he's gonna
walk away. They like to hang out in the sun. So these guys are cold-blooded. So they need something like the sun to regulate their body temperatures. Now, let me go back to why they're called box turtles. I never mentioned that. So what these guys feel threatened, what they're going to do is these guys have hinges on their shells, and they can bring their head in, their legs in, and close it up. So it's kind of like a box. It keeps them nice and safe from their predators. Now, when they're younger, their shells are as hard and as sturdy as when they get older. So these guys, this size, are more likely to get eaten or killed. So you gotta watch out for these guys.
Brandon would like to know if this is a vertebrate or an invertebrate.
Oh, these guys definitely have vertebrates, so you can actually see the line on their back.
Ah, so what is the difference? Like, what is an invertebrate and an invertebrate?
So invertebrates don't have backbones, and vertebrates do have backbones or vertebrae.
All right, and Gray, age 10, does he have a tail? Because I think I saw one.
You do. Let me try to turn him around here. Maybe we can get him walking in the different direction.
Oh, there it
is.
is.
You might see his little tail.
We see a great view of his little tail. So is it common for turtles and tortoises to have tails?
Yeah, so a lot of times, at least for tortoises, they're kind of tucked underneath, so you may not be able to see them as well.
Here's a one that no one's asked yet. Does he have a tongue?
Does he have a tongue? Yes, I believe he does have a tongue.
Oh, and someone to tell us I did translate that question correctly. Self-5 for this
Good
moderator. We may have missed it, but Cora wants to know, what do they eat?
What do they eat? So these guys are omnivores, which means they eat plants and meat. So here at the zoo, we feed them what we call salads, which just have greens, fruits, and veggies in it. And then we also feed them things like bugs, so worms, like red worms and mealworms.
This might be my favorite question of this whole segment. Claire, age 4, and Lily, age 6, they want to know who is his favorite zookeeper, and does he have any ninja skills?
Oh, I would love to say I am their favorite keeper, but I don't work with him a whole lot, so I don't know if he has a favorite zookeeper, and I have yet to see his ninja skills, so if he does, he does it when I'm not around.
That's right. That's the point, guys. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles always stay hidden. That's part of their code, isn't it? My son had one named Preston that I would babysit when he traveled. Ha ha ha. A little story from Denise.
Well, I definitely wouldn't take one from the wild, but people are known to have these guys as pets for sure.
So is it easy to take care of a turtle as a pet?
They need very specific things. So a very specific diet, a habitat, so an enclosure that you can make sure you keep warm, and they have the right substrate and lights. So you definitely need to make sure you do your research with any pet specifically, but reptiles especially.
Oh, here's another fun one. Bryson, age 4. Can you teach them tricks?
Can you teach them tricks? So you can train anything. So, yeah, there's a little piece of something. But I know here at the zoo, in our ambassador program specifically, we teach our reptiles to target train. So yeah, you can teach these guys to do things. They're very smart.
That's really cool. And so someone's asking about where they live. So we talked about observing wildlife, from a safe distance. If I wanted to go see one of these guys in the wild, where could I go, and how could I safely watch without upsetting it?
Yep, so I know Shelby Farm has a big pond you can go to. So I like to go out there, and you will see them at the edge of the water or sitting on logs. And just make sure you're staying a distance away. Binoculars really help with observing these guys from a really safe distance. But you'll see them start to move around on the log if you start to disturb them. And when you do, just kind of hang back a little bit. You'll just need to read their body language.
And a lot of friends are asking one more time, what is the pink on the back?
Yep, so I'm not sure if you can see it on camera right now, but it's just a little bit of nail polish. Does not affect him whatsoever, but we have Pink here and his 2 brothers, and we just put the nail polish on there so we can tell which one is which because they look pretty much exactly alike.
And do they bite? Avery, age 5.
That is probably the most asked question we ever get here at the zoo. I like to say anything with a mouth can bite. So he can bite, but will he? No. So we like to give our animals choice and control here at the zoo. So if he didn't want to come out, we wouldn't make him come out. So he doesn't really feel the need to, he doesn't feel threatened and wouldn't want to bite. But he can, he's just probably not going to.
If he did feel threatened, what would he do?
So go in the shell is a big one. So he would feel a little afraid and not really feel like coming out too much. When I went to get him from his enclosure, he was right up front. He didn't go inside of his shell, and I knew he was totally cool to come out. And he's getting his exercise, as you can see.
Oh, definitely. So we've talked a lot, so many fun things to talk about today. Something that someone hasn't asked yet, but I'm surprised, is where can you find them here at the zoo, which is always a great time to talk about your interpreter program in general.
Yeah, so these guys live behind the scenes in our education building. We have an animal room where all of our smaller ambassadors live. If you come down to the farm, honestly, where we are kind of having a picnic-style virtual encounter today, we even have some living around here. And I think we might have a couple in the herpetarium. But if you guys come back and see us, hopefully soon, you may see us out and about with these little turtlets.
Okay, and we've got Ireland, age 9. What state are they most commonly found?
Oh, that is a great question, Ireland. Also, awesome name. Well, these guys are actually the state reptile for 3 different states. So I believe it's Tennessee for sure, Missouri, and I believe maybe Virginia or one of the Carolinas. I can't remember that third one. So I would like to think it was definitely one of those states, but very common here in Tennessee.
And does he hibernate? Emma, age 7.
So these guys will go kind of underground in burrows in the winter time because they are cold-blooded. So when they're underground, they can just regulate their body temperature a little bit better.
That's true, because people forget turtles are reptiles and they are cold-blooded, right?
Yeah.
That's really fun. was looking through, so we're getting a lot of these same questions again about how big he'll get and diet. Maybe just kind of go with that reintroduction one more time.
Yep, so this is Pink the box turtle. And when he is fully grown, which is going to take several years, he is about 6 months old now. He can be anywhere from 4 to 9 inches, kind of like people. We're all different sizes. These guys are too. And they are omnivores, so they'll eat anything from plants to meat, mostly bugs.
Oh, and Abby, age 10, are there any venomous turtles?
I do not think there are any venomous turtles. That is a great question.
But points to Abby for venomous and not poisonous.
I know. That is one of my pet peeves, so I'm glad she got it right.
High five to Abby from us at the zoo. London, age 7, do they like human interaction?
In the wild, definitely not. Here at the zoo, though, these ambassadors, I'm not sure if they like it. They definitely enjoy coming out and getting some fresh air and getting to do things that they would do in the wild. So I don't like to say they would, like it like we like things, but I think they definitely enjoy coming out.
And what about personalities? People never think a reptile has a personality, but we definitely see on this show, especially since we've had so many reptiles coming out, that they each have their own personalities, even the spiders.
Oh yeah, every animal has their own personality, and that's one of my favorite things about this job, is getting to know each individual animal, because we have 2 different ball pythons. Those 2 ball pythons are so different from each other.
So there are 3 turtlets have little different personalities each?
Oh yeah, so Pink I feel like is definitely the more outgoing one. The other ones kind of hang out, or they'll go under a hide, or we give them big piles of things to crawl inside. And this one, every time I go in, he's always right up front, ready to go.
All right, Kaylee, age 10, wants to know, why is it called a box turtle?
That is a great question. So these guys have hinges on their shell, and they can actually close all the way up, just like a box. And that is why they get the name, the box turtle.
That's really cool. Is that to keep them safe, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, so if a predator was to come around, they would put their head in and close their shell up, and it's nice and tight, so that predator can't really get in.
We do have a friend who went turtlets. I think they just figured out what we were calling them and had a little giggle to himself and wanted to share that with us.
Oh yeah, turtlets, that is a pretty funny name. I love names for baby animals, or any animal groups in general. They're pretty funny.
All right, Max, age 6, do they like to stay in deep or shallow water?
Let's see. I'm not sure exactly what they prefer. You normally see them at the shallow end of water, though.
But they can't swim, though, right? Turtles
Yeah.
can't. It's our tortoise friends who can't swim, so please don't throw them in the lake.
Yep, please don't. And better yet, if you just see an animal, leave it alone in general, and you won't have to worry about that.
We got a shout out all the way from Houston, Texas. Shane says, thanks so much for doing the shows, and we enjoy them.
Oh, thank you. I love Texas.
And we're going back to, is it a boy or a girl, from Brandy?
This is a boy, even though his name is Pink.
Real man can be called Pink, right?
That's
right. All right. So, I don't know if you've ever clocked it or maybe you know here, but Dog Days does want to know, how fast can he go? Because on camera, he seems really fast.
I mean, he can go faster than this. It was probably off camera slightly, but he can kind of get into a turtle sprint, if that makes sense. I don't know exactly how fast it is, but it's definitely faster than you think.
As he gets bigger, will he slow down at all with that weight?
I don't know if he'd slow down, because that shell is going to grow with him, so he's going to get, he's used to his shell by that point. But it might slow him down slightly.
I know, and looks like he's got some pretty long toenails there. I mean, is that pretty common for our turtles to have?
Yeah, it's kind of, traction a little bit. Helps him climb a little bit better.
Would you call him a good climber?
Probably. It definitely helps him dig, too. And these guys, especially in their enclosure that they're in, they have some soil, and they have definitely been known to dig themselves into a little burrow.
All right, guys, we are getting towards the end of our segment, but we'll take a few last questions here. Gavin, age 5, wants to know, what are his predators?
Predators? So a lot of things would eat this guy, this size especially. Their predators could be anything from fox, mammals like that, bigger reptiles, especially humans. Humans are a big predator, even though we're not the same as animal predators. But cars are a big predator for these guys.
Doesn't anything that can crack that shell. Does that shell get stronger and firmer as it gets older?
Oh yeah. So right now he is kind of vulnerable for to predators. Luckily he doesn't have predators here at the zoo, but their shell's not as strong when they're this little.
And here's a fun one. Carmen wants to know, how many species of turtles are there?
Oh my. That is a great question. I'm going to have to look that question up, and hopefully I can get that to Whitney and she can put that on there for you. Alright guys, well it's time for Pink to head back home to hang out with his brothers. But don't forget, saving wildlife starts at home, so enjoy the nature around you, observe it and appreciate it, but always leave wild things wild. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and we will see you tomorrow for another virtual wild encounter with the Memphis Zoo.